Alright, welcome to Lua Tutorial 2, where we focus on using numbers. I'm going to just use integers in this particular tutorial, so in other words, I'm just not using fractions. But if you ever hear the word integers, it just means whole numbers that are 0, positive, or negative. Alright, so let's get the user to type in a number. Let's ask them how old they are. How old are you? Question mark. Alright. And what we need to do is going to be very similar to what we did here, where we said location equals io.read to get them to type in some text. When we want them to type in a number, though, we're going to do it a little differently. It's going to say something like age equals io.read, but we put a little n here. So I think that n stands for number. So if we want to read a number, we do this. And for technical reasons, whenever we do an io.read with an n, it's best to do io.read, read a line to kind of clear out the input buffer, but let's not worry about that. For right now, whenever you do read in a number, after you're done reading in numbers, do an io.read with an L in there so that next time you try to get them to type in a string, it doesn't foul up everything. Alright, so what we can do is we can tell them how old they will be 1 year from now. Just using some good old-fashioned addition. In 1 year, you will be, so what we want to do, break out of quotes as we did before, and chain things together with those two periods, and I'm going to just take their age and add 1 to it. So notice I put it in parentheses. Just, I suggest this when you're printing out arithmetic formula. So if you have some kind of addition or subtraction stuff like that going on inside of a print, I'm just going to recommend putting it inside parentheses. Alright, now their age wasn't will not be changed here, but it is just going to show that, you know, how old they will be in 1 year. So let's just show this. Okay, so let's run that. Okay, so ignore this stuff at the top. This was just me running the first part of the program. So how old are you? Let's just say I am 100 years old. In 1 year, you will be 101, but now you are 100, of course. Okay, so the age did not change. Age is still 100, but what we displayed was the result of adding 1 to age. I hope that makes sense. Okay, what else can you do with these whole numbers? Of course, we can do subtraction and things like that. So I can print out age minus 1. I can print out age times 2. So notice that multiplication uses an asterisk. Fortunately, subtraction just uses the good old-fashioned minus sign. Okay, and we can also divide. Divide uses a forward slash. So please don't mix up the division with a backslash symbol. So to divide, you want a slash character that kind of leans to the right. Alright, so that's how you use arithmetic. If you needed to do a really complicated formula or a complicated calculation, you might want to use parentheses. So once in a while this might be needed. So 3 times 4 plus 5 times 2. So what is this going to do? This is going to multiply 3 times 4 first and then do 5 times 2 and then add those two results together. So we should get, let's write it in a comment, 12 plus 10, which is 22. So let's just see what this looks like. Okay, so it does show 22, which is fine. But if we wanted it to do the 4 plus 5 first, we would put that 4 plus 5 inside parentheses. And now, instead of getting 22, this is going to get us 3 times 9 times 2, which is 18 times 3, which is that 54. So we would get 54 here. All right. Okay, so what else can you do with numbers besides just some arithmetic? Well, one thing is you can check if a number variable is less than or equal to or greater than some other number. So let's check to see if this person's age is 65 or more. So to do that, I'm just going to say if age greater than or equal to 65, then what am I going to do? We're going to say print, you are a senior citizen. Okay, so let's actually write this in several lines. So what I'm going to suggest when you write an if statement, as these, anytime you have if in your program, it's called an if statement, that, let me write it this way. Okay, I'm going to suggest that you have the if here, then you're going to put some kind of condition, right? So like, is age greater than or equal to 65 would be considered a condition. And then put the word then here. And notice that I indented this line. I happen to indent it 4 spaces, which I think is a good amount. And what you have to do at the end of an if statement is put the word end. So this is the end of that if statement in line 35. Okay? So you don't have to put a comment like this, but it wouldn't be bad if you're finding yourself confused at the whole end business. But basically every if statement has to have the word end at the end of it. And the reason is because you can put multiple lines right here. So we can say you are a senior citizen. We can say you can get the senior discount. So we could have 100 lines in here, and the end basically says that that's the end of the section of code that is only going to run if age is greater than or equal to 65. So let's try this and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so we're here to where it says how old are you, which means we are right at this point in the code. So I'm going to type that I am 75. So it says in 1 year you will be 76. Okay, so that's this line here. It should say, but now you are 75, of course, which is right there. It's just printing out 75 minus 1, 75 times 2, 75 divided by 2. That's what these lines here are. That's that 54 calculation from earlier. So it is saying you are a senior citizen, you can get the senior discount. If I were to run this again and not put 75, if I were to put like 57, then it should not say any of that stuff. So just to show you that I'm not making all that up, let's run it one more time. Okay, here we go, 57, and it doesn't print any of that stuff. Right, so if statement is going to check whether this is true or false. If this happens to be true, then it's going to run this code here. And if it's not true, it just skips over this completely. So when age was 57, this was not true. It bypassed all this, and it just picks it up after the word end here. We call that a keyword, by the way. So these if, then, end, I guess IO, these are all keywords. Print, I don't know if it's technically a keyword, but I consider it a keyword essentially. Okay, we can check not only if a number is greater than or equal to a number, we can check if it's exactly equal to another number. So if age is equal to 64, then, so notice after the word then, I start a new line and I'm just going to indent 4 spaces. We're going to print 1 more year and you'll be a senior citizen. And let's end that. There's not too much to say to somebody who's 64. Okay, I can also check to see if the person is rather young. So let's say if age is less than 10, then print you're pretty young to be learning programming. Good for you. And what else can I do? I can check if age is greater than 100. Say you're pretty old to be learning programming. Good for you. All right, and we can also check, instead of checking if a number is exactly equal to 1, I can check if it's not equal to one particular number also. So if for some reason I want to see if age is not equal to 35, then print you're not 35, I see. Okay, but we're seeing the pattern for if statements. You have the word if, you have some type of condition, and the word then. All right. So if I were to run this and type 57, you should be able to just look at the code and know which of these lines are actually going to print. So if let's just pause this video and think about it for a moment. So if I ran this now and typed 57, which of these would print? These two are not going to print because 57 for age is not greater than or equal to 65. This is not going to print because it's not equal to 64. 57 is not less than 100, so this would not print. This would not print for the same reason that 57 is not greater than 100. This one would actually print, so if age is not equal to 35. By the way, that is a tilde symbol. It's kind of a squiggly thing, and on my keyboard I need to press shift and it's a key right above tab. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to make a simple store program. So very, very simple, where you get to choose from one of 3 items. So let's just print what should be the theme of this store? It will be the gardening store. Okay, so we're going to say, let's actually just print out a blank line. And let me see something before I get any further. So if I just want to print a blank line, I can just type print with the parentheses, but nothing inside the parentheses. Okay, so I will say choose an item, print 1, shovel, and I'll put a bunch of dots, and let's say the shovel is $10. Print 2, what's another gardening item that one might purchase? Lawnmower. This lawnmower will be $200. And what's one more thing? Hose for 30. Okay, so now I need them to make a choice, and they hopefully will type in a number. So what I need to do is, just as we did before, choice is going to equal io.read, and then n for number, io.read L to just clear out the line after they type in the number. We don't want that to mess things up later down the road. Maybe I'll show an example of that a little later, but you can just try it both ways and see if I'm actually correct. Okay, so what we need to do is check to see if they typed in 1, and let's actually do this. Let's keep track of their bill. Their bill will start off at 0, and so what we'll do down here is if choice is equal to 1, then print, here's a nice shovel. And we'll set the bill equal to 10. That's the end of that if statement, right? Let's go here. If choice is equal to 2, let's make it a fabulous lawnmower. And the bill should be $200 if they bought the lawnmower, right? And notice I'm copying and pasting. So if you're not familiar with that, you just highlight the area that you want to copy, and at least on my computer I can do Control-C, and then where I want it to go I do Control-V. So let's see. Because these if statements are so similar, that's why I was doing that. So if choice is equal to 3, here's a great garden hose. And the bill in that case should be 30. Alright, so what we did was, this is a variable here, bill, that rather than them typing it in directly, we set it in these lines of code to one thing or another based on what they chose in terms of 1, 2, or 3. Alright, so down here we can use it and just say your bill is $, and then we want to chain that together with the actual value of their bill. And let's just put a nice period and just say thank you for shopping at the gardening store. I guess it's a proper name the way I wrote it earlier. Okay, so there's a lot more that could be done here, and maybe I'll do that in the next video. But I would suggest for your task 2, make a store program with about 5 to 10 items, each with a different cost. So let's see how this program runs. But that will be your task in just a moment. Okay, So here we are at the gardening store. Choose an item: a shovel, a lawnmower, a hose. Let's get the lawnmower. Here's a fabulous lawnmower. Your bill is $200. Thank you for shopping at the gardening store. Okay, there's other ways we could have written that code. We didn't have to use this variable bill, but it is one nice way that works out pretty well, because then we don't have to duplicate this your bill is and tell them their bill in here inside each if statement. All right, thanks for tuning in, and I hope this store program works out. And so I'll see you next time, folks. Take care.